Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. The Prime Minister suggesting the U.S. drug probe may be entrapment as he shifts his tone on the U.S. indictment. A massive fire ripping through a number of buildings, including a new government complex. And Aisha Bowe becoming the first Bahamian in space. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be here filling in for DeQuesta Dean. Also this morning, we're talking with Reach about the work they're doing in the Bahamas with autism and about a big event they have coming up in a few weeks. And later in business, it's our monthly Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. Today, we're talking about their mission to India going on now and about their partnership with NTA for the National Vocational Qualifications. We'll get all the details coming up. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis saying that it appears the Bahamian law enforcement officers charged in a U.S. indictment in connection with a massive cocaine smuggling operation were entrapped. The Prime Minister asked about the matter yesterday, saying, quote, "The whole operation is concerning to me because on the face of it, it appears to be an entrapment of officers, and that is concerning." Last November, the U.S. unsealed an indictment that named 11 and 2 Colombians who are allegedly responsible for transporting tons of cocaine from South America into the Bahamas and ultimately into the United States. The indictment named Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis, then officer in charge of the airport division, Police Force Sergeant Prince Albert Simonet, who was later discharged, and Defense Force Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker, who was also discharged, as conspirators who helped facilitate the transshipment of cocaine. According to the indictment, Curtis told a trafficker that a high-ranking Bahamian politician could, in exchange for $2 million, authorize law enforcement officers to assist with cocaine shipments. The Davis administration sent a diplomatic note to U.S. officials requesting the identity of the politician who was not named in the indictment. And when asked by a reporter yesterday if the government ever got a response, Davis said, quote, "Not a word." He noted that the law enforcement officers have been charged in the United States and are awaiting trial, saying that, quote, "We will see what happens." Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's claim of entrapment is a far cry from the speeches he gave in the immediate aftermath of the unsealing of the indictment last year. He promised that the officers' quote, "betrayal will not go unanswered." A massive fire ravaging the Department of Labor, Solomon Supercenter, and the new Costright building off East-West Highway, injuring 3 firefighters. A cloud of black billowing smoke towered over the buildings as emergency workers raced to the scene. At one point, an explosion occurred, injuring at least 1 firefighter. Police Commissioner Shanta Knowles said the fire started in the generator room at Solomon Supercenter sometime around 10:44 a.m. yesterday. She said police arrived at the scene at 10:51 and that all their units were deployed to the fire. As of yesterday, 4 units had to be on the scene along with a team of officers from the airport fire services. The commissioner saying police also contacted the Defense Force to assist with firefighting efforts. The Royal Bahamas Police Force opening its new domestic violence standalone unit. The state-of-the-art facility will serve as a safe space for victims of domestic violence and will be manned by specialized officers. Commissioner Knowles saying that the center will offer a dedicated interview and counseling space, an on-site victim support liaison trained in first aid who can offer immediate care, information, and emotional guidance in those critical first moments after a report is made. Commissioner saying that though the building is not a shelter, victims are allowed to stay for 24 hours. A 58-year-old Haitian man who fondled his 16-year-old neighbor, sentenced to 1 year in prison. Elgene Alkia of Milton Street pleaded guilty to an indecent assault charge when he made his first court appearance before Assistant Chief Magistrate Karen Vogt Evans. He will face deportation after serving his time. According to the prosecutor, Inspector Santiano Coakley, Alkia asked the teen to warm some food for him. When she took the heated meal to him, he pulled her into his home and touched her breasts and genitals and tried to kiss her. The teen managed to escape, and the matter was reported to the police. A man accused of a gang-related murder refused bail for his safety and that of the public Monday. Justice Neil Brathwaite delivered his decision in the case of Mitchell Fox, the younger brother of murdered gang leader Michael Wheelchair Fox. Prosecutors say he planned and carried out the broad daylight murder of Eddie Miller with others on September 5th, 2024. Gunmen ambushed Miller as he was about to get into his car after leaving a store on Cowpen Road. He was killed in front of his wife and children. Fox is also accused of the attempted murders of Rodlin Henfield and Sharon Thompson at Ida Street on September 11th, 2024. He's been in custody since his arrest last November. His older brother, the reputed leader of the Foxhill Outlaws, was killed in an ambush when he pulled up outside of a home in Fleming Street on May 6th, 2024. And while the family of 23-year-old Denari McAlmont, that tourist who died in the Bahamas last week, has raised questions over reports that he drowned, Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles says that Bahamian officials are professional and thorough, saying that they understand their work, their portfolios, and will turn the matter over to the coroner in a short time. Malk Almond, a resident of Maryland, and his parents arrived in the Bahamas on Friday and were staying at the Atlantis Resort in Paradise Island. His parents said he went for a walk after dinner that night, and they grew concerned when he didn't return and answer calls. Just hours later, early Saturday morning, his body leaked. An autopsy concluded that McAlmond drowned. And Aisha Bowe making history, becoming the first Bahamian to fly to space on Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. It happened yesterday. 30-year-old former NASA rocket scientist and entrepreneur was part of a 6-woman flight team that included journalist Gayle King and singer Katy Perry, the first all-women crew in space since 1963. Prime Minister Philip Davis praising her accomplishment as a proud and historic moment. The Blue Origin mission, which launched from Texas at 9:30 a.m., was the 11th human flight for the New Shepard program and the 31st in history. Bowe was born in Michigan to Bahamian parents. Her father, Glenroy Bowe, was an Andros native, and her grandfather, Forrester Bowe, was from Exuma. In an interview after landing back on Earth yesterday, Bowe described the experience as life-changing, saying, quote, "I will never be the same." Overseas, Iran's supreme leader is saying today that the first round of talks with the United States went well. In his first public comment on the negotiations, the comments by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, while couched, represented his endorsement of the talk so far. The 85-year-old saying, quote, "We are neither radically optimistic about the talks nor radically pessimistic about the talks." However, he said the talks had been implemented well in its first steps and that Iran remained pessimistic about America. He also urged officials not to tie the country's affairs to the talks, which are scheduled to have a second round on Saturday. And as Sudan marks 2 years of civil war today, atrocities and famine are only mounting in what the UN says is the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Last month, the Sudanese military secured a major capital of Khartoum from its rival, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. But that has only moved the war into a new phase that could end up with a de facto partition of the country. On Friday and Saturday, RSF fighters and their allies rampaged in 2 refugee camps in the western Darfur region, killing at least 300 people. The Zamzam and the Abu Shuk camps, which shelter more than 700,000 Sudanese who fled from their homes, have both been stricken with famine, and aid workers cannot reach them because of the fighting. Half the population of 50 million faces hunger. The World Food Program has confirmed famine in 10 locations and says it could spread, putting millions in danger of starvation. The war erupted on April 15, 2023, with pitched battles between the military and the RSF in the streets of Khartoum that quickly spread to other parts of the country. It was a culmination of months of tension between the head of the military and the RSF's commander. The two were once allies in suppressing Sudan's movement for democracy and civilian rule, but turned on each other in a struggle for power. And Haiti's government announcing Monday that it approved what it called a war budget of $275,000 aimed at alleviating the country's crisis as gang violence surges. Nearly 40% of the money will go toward Haiti's police and military to fight the armed groups that threaten national stability, while nearly 20% will go to fortify the border the country shares with the Dominican Republic. Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council making the announcements yesterday. Another 16% will go to social programs, including those focused on education, health, and humanitarian assistance. The council says the special budget reflects the state's commitment to act decisively and target the growing insecurity. Additional money, though, is not expected to alleviate the lack of resources hitting a UN-backed mission led by Kenyan police, which is struggling to help local authorities quell gang violence. Gangs that control at least 85% of the capital of Port-au-Prince continue to attack communities surrounding it. Recently, a powerful gang coalition known as Vive Ensemble took control of the towns of Maribalès and Saint-Thé in Haiti's central region, according to the National Human Rights Defense Network. Police say at the Maribalès police station and local prison that police officers apparently fled during the attacks. In sports, Jonathan Rogers couldn't get home for the Carifta trials a few weeks ago, and he's not going to be able to make the Carifta games either due to collegiate commitments, but he made a huge statement over the weekend proving that he is one of the best junior long jumpers in the country. Rogers, a sophomore at New Mexico Junior College Thunderbirds, had a massive leap of 7.83 meters, although it might have been wind-aided, to win the long jump competition at the Joe Meeker Classic on the campus of West Texas A&M University on Saturday. All of Rogers' jumps in the competition were wind-aided, but he proved that he's among the top junior jumpers in the country. He has a personal best leap of 7.55 meters this year. With a winning leap on Saturday, he was able to qualify for the National Junior College Athletic Association Division I Outdoor Track and Field Championships, which will be held May 15th through 17th in Hutchinson, Kansas. Also in that long jump competition on Saturday, Bahamian Anton Higgs, a junior for Colorado Mesa University. Higgs finished third with a wind-aided leap of 7.49 meters. Higgs also took part in the triple jump competition. He finished 11th overall with a wind-aided leap of 13.81 meters. Meanwhile, Angel Pratt, a senior for Western Michigan University, won the women's 400 meters hurdles competition at the Chippewa Challenge on the campus of Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Pratt clocking 1:02.08 to finish ahead of her fellow competitors. Tyler Cash, a sophomore for Mount St. Mary's University Mountaineers, finished second in the men's pole vault at the 2025 Messiah Invitational at Messiah University in Pennsylvania. Baseball is a game of ups and downs, hot spots and cold nights, but Bahamian professional baseball player Jazz Rattle Jazz Chisholm Jr. had the longest hitless streak of his 6-year career, going 0 for 24 over a 7-game period. But now it appears that the slugger has found his swing. He hit his second home run in 3 at-bats, helping the New York Yankees defeat at Yankee Stadium Monday. For the game, Chisholm finished with a solo home run in 4 at-bats and is now batting pretty well for the season so far with 6 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 10 runs scored. His 6 home runs are tied with 6 others for the Major League Baseball lead so far this season. From the NBA, Steve Kerr, the basketball fan, raves about the play-in tournament and the drama that it creates down the stretch for the NBA's regular season and leading into the official start of the playoffs. But as a coach, he doesn't like it so much. His Golden State Warriors are 0-3 in the play-in games. But that's where the Warriors and 7 other teams find themselves now. They're in the postseason. They're not in the playoffs. And 6 games this week all have either a playoff berth, season elimination, or both on the line. The 5th full season of the NBA's play-in tournament starts today. Number 7, Orlando hosts number 8, Atlanta in the Eastern Conference, and number 7, Golden State hosts number 8, Memphis in the Western Conference. The winners of those games make the playoffs, and the Magic Hawks winner earning the chance to play Boston, and the Warriors Grizzlies winner off to play Houston. For Tuesday's losers, all is not lost. The Magic Hawks loser will play host to either number 9 Chicago or number 10 Miami on Friday in an elimination game to see who faces number 1 Cleveland in the East, while the Warriors Grizzlies loser will play host to either number 9 Sacramento or number 10 Dallas to see who'll take on number 1 Oklahoma City in the West. The Chicago, Miami, and Sacramento Dallas games are Wednesday. The losers of those games will be eliminated. And Paige Buckers is ready for her next chapter after a whirlwind week that started with her helping UConn win its 12th national championship and ended with her becoming the WNBA's number 1 draft pick by the Dallas Wings. Buckers saying of Dallas, quote, "I'm just extremely excited to be there. I've only heard great things about the city." The versatile UConn star is the latest Huskies standout to go number 1, joining former greats Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Tina Charles, Maya Moore, and Brianna Stewart. Buckers had a busy time since helping UConn win its title on April 6th. She split her time between New York and Connecticut, doing morning and nighttime talk shows. On Sunday, she took part in the Huskies championship parade. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Weather, your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. A high-pressure system is drifting eastwards across the Bahamas today. This dry and stable air mass is going to limit rainfall activity throughout the country. A light and gentle breeze and calm seas expected over most of the area. Fresh winds and moderate seas are expected for the southeastern islands. So, tropical moisture from the Caribbean Sea is going to create some unsettled weather across the southeast Bahamas beginning tomorrow. Meanwhile, a few isolated showers will accompany a frontal boundary across the northern and northwest Bahamas before stalling in the central Bahamas come Thursday. That approaching, for the holiday weekend, look for some strong breezes and rough seas across the area. Currently, there remains a moderate risk of rip currents along east-facing shorelines of the southeast Bahamas. So for today, we are looking at conditions ranging from a mix of sun and clouds to partly cloudy to cloudy through tonight for most of the country. Less than a 10% chance of rain, though. Slightly elevated for the southeast Bahamas. Winds light and variable occasionally for the south at 10 knots or less for the extreme northern islands. For the northwest and central islands, east to southeast at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times, and easterly at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts for the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 63 Fahrenheit, 17 Celsius. Slightly warmer for the extreme southeastern islands. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit. This first look at weather brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end?
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Barry, you're a winner. Give me a Ja. Give me a Barry.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Can you buy me a drink from the canteen?
Sure, looks like the canteen uses first pay from CIBC Caribbean. Ready, Dad?
Give me a first.
First.
Give me a pay.
Pay. You like that, Jabari? Jabari?
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Better say Lampkin. Besides carrying all the roofing material needed to cover East End, Enterprises also has all the equipment needed to put it together and to protect your workers. At Enterprises, we got hand tools, power and manual, including hacksaws, hammers, mauls, wrecking bars, well, hopefully they won't need them yet, drill bits, tapes, plumb bobs, levels, and more. We got cement, concrete bond and fiber, lime, sand, and P-rock. We got dust masks, safety glasses, gloves, hard hats, and high visibility vests. Lampkin, what we got here at Enterprises is a one-stop shop for builders.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the gamut planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 42796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now on a Tuesday morning, we're very pleased to have with us Laverne Gardner. Laverne Gardner filling in for DeQuesta Dean, who's going to be here with us on Thursday. But Laverne, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Great to be hearing from you.
Yes, great to be hearing from you as well. Good morning to all of our Morning Blend listeners on a Tuesday.
Hey, wonderful stuff. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about this morning. We're going to be talking, it is April. That means it's Autism Awareness Month. And we're going to be talking with Reach Bahamas, the great work they're doing. And they'll give us some details about an event they have coming up in a few weeks. And then later in business, it's our Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. We'll be talking with them about what they're doing right now. They're in India. We're going to be talking to them in India. And also getting details about a new partnership they have with the National Training Agency. That's all ahead. But right now, let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, a lot to talk about this morning, a lot to get to, some interesting comments from the Prime Minister on that massive fire yesterday. It's still smoldering on my way in, could see that. The smoke, you can still see the smoke at least, right? And so we get to those in a bit. Just really quickly, I just want to shout out Aisha Bowe. Been a guest here a couple times, but really making history yesterday. First Bahamian in space yesterday. Laverne, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but I saw it after. It was happening while we were on the air, but when we got off, got to see some of it. Really exciting stuff. I know she's been all in on this, on STEM, and as a former NASA rocket scientist. But really great
Yeah.
stuff yesterday. So hopefully
Yeah,
that.
I did get a chance to see it, and then of course the interview, and so it was very exciting.
Yeah, wonderful stuff there, and she definitely was repping the Bahamas. Had her little Bahamian flag there, and always talks about the country in such a great way. So wonderful
Can I tell you
ambassador.
that's all I cared about?
Okay, well there you go.
Like honestly, Dwight, like if she was not there, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, well, a great ambassador for the country, a great ambassador, and we do hope it inspires many other young people, boys and girls, men and women, to pursue this. Yeah, anyone could be an astronaut. They used to tell us it was pie in the sky
Impossible,
thinking,
yeah.
right?
Well, where you going with that?
Yeah.
Especially, as a Bahamian.
Absolutely. But nothing is impossible if you really want to do it. And there's more on her background in case some of these crazy doubting people out there talking nonsense. But everything you need in the paper today, at today's NASA Guardian. So we salute her. All right, so this is also interesting as well. New domestic violence standalone unit opened yesterday. It's a great thing. I'm a little concerned that the location was revealed and they had so many people there for the opening, but apparently it's not a shelter, so I guess that makes it different. But we hope it achieves what it sets out to do. So that is wonderful. All right, so the other stories, not so wonderful. We'll get to the fire first, and then we'll get to the Prime Minister's comments. Both of these are jaw-dropping. But let's begin with the fire. This massive fire, where it began, it appears it began at Solomon's, but it impacted a number of buildings. And so let's get the details in this report from our Shania Roberts.
Thick plumes of black smoke billowed into the air as firefighters battled a blaze at the newly leased government facility on East-West Highway and Old Trail Road. Commissioner of Police Shanta Knoll says police were alerted to the major fire on Monday morning and all units responded.
At 10:44 a.m. today, we received a report, our fire control room received a report that there was a fire in the generator room at Solomon's here on the East-West Highway. At 10:51, my units arrived on scene, and of course we confirmed that, which you're seeing here today, and they began to work this fire. All of our units were deployed to this fire. As you can see, they are still working to contain the fire. At present, 4 units are on scene, along with a team of officers from the airport fire services, and we have already made contact with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore, who will also be assisting us with manpower.
Injuries. Due to the magnitude of the fire, Airport Fire Services is providing critical assistance on scene, while manpower support is being rendered by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. Additionally, off-duty officers from the Police Fire Services have been called in to assist with firefighting efforts. Knowles urged residents to avoid the area as officials struggle to contain the blaze.
2 officers were able to get into Solomon's, but they had to retreat, and so we're still working to gain access. We do know that fire is still in the building. 3 officers received injury. 2 of them are at the hospital, and we're waiting for another 2 be transported to hospital. Those injuries at this time, I'm told, are minor injuries.
Amid speculations that officials were late in their response, the police chief stressed that all protocols were followed.
So at present, we have all of our on and off-duty officers. So we've called in all of our fire officers to the scene today. So we have approximately 60, 70 officers on the scene, along with 7 from the airport. And then, of course, the Defense Force is now deploying assistance here for us. My officers received the call at 10:44 a.m. and at 10:51 a.m. they were on scene. That is very, very much quick response time.
Both Costright and Solomon's Old Trail had to evacuate all employees due to the widespread of flames. Prime Minister Philip Davis visited the scene of the fire, where he was briefed by the commissioner and senior fire officials. Among the government agencies set to move into the building is the Department of Labor. Labor Minister Pia Glover Rhodes spoke to the anticipated impact of the fire.
The Department of Labor was one of the ministries that would have been moving into this building, along with the Department of Immigration and the DRM, the Disaster Authority. None of the ministries have moved in officially yet, but was in a closer proximity to moving in. We have had furniture installed, and there are some files are in the building. But fortunately, there are no staff that occupy the building. We were on our final, those staff that were present, were on our final walkthrough this morning in preparation for move-in, and that was about 10 persons. And of course, they were able to evacuate safely and remove themselves from the building. Well, obviously, we are still in our former locations, so this just means that we remain there for a while. The timelines would have to be adjusted, but there will be no issues in terms of operation because we have not fully moved into the building yet.
For the Guardian News Network, I'm Shania Roberts.
Okay, man, that went on for a long time yesterday. Really quite something. There's some shocking videos out there, including with explosions and just a lot of drama yesterday. Thankfully, it seems no major injuries. We hope those firefighters who sustained some trauma there can recover very quickly. But wow, what a scary scene yesterday. My goodness. So if you have any comments, you can call us 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. You can call us toll free 242-300-5720. Just a major setback. What a beautiful building. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, Laverne, but it was looking really nice.
I didn't.
Yeah, really sad for the ministries that were going to be in
Very
there.
unfortunate, yeah.
But the Solomons and the Costright, I mean, they just renovated and reopened recently. Haven't even been in the Costright yet. And this is just terrible. Terrible for them. My gosh. So real tragedy there. But again, no loss of life. So that is something to be grateful for. Well, all right. So let's move on, because that would have been the biggest story of the day. Until
it would have.
Yeah, until on any normal day. But then somebody asked the Prime Minister about that indictment. We've talked a lot about it on this show that from late last year.
Right.
And do you remember last November, the U.S. unsealed an indictment that named 11 Bahamians and 2 Colombians who were allegedly responsible for transporting tons of cocaine from South America into the Bahamas and ultimately into the United States. That indictment naming Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis, who was then officer in charge of the Airport Division, and Police Force Sergeant Prince Albert Simonet, who has since been discharged, and Defense Force Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker, who was also discharged, as conspirators in this matter and in helping to facilitate the transshipment of the cocaine. According to the indictment, Curtis told the trafficker that a high-ranking Bahamian politician could, in exchange for $2 million, authorize law enforcement officers to assist with cocaine shipments. The Davis administration sent a diplomatic note to U.S. officials requesting the identity of the politician who was indictment and more details surrounding the allegation against the person. So, the Prime Minister was asked about this yesterday. Take a listen to this exchange.
And I'm open to meet with them to discuss the way forward.
Any word back from the U.S. officials on, I know you had sent, or the government rather, sent a note following the indictment that was released on the senior government official? Have you heard back from them?
Not a word.
Is that concerning at all, that all this time has passed and nothing is done?
That whole operation is concerning to me. Because on the face of it, it appeared to be an entrapment of officers, and that is concerning. So I've not heard from them. So we're just trying to we await the two the two officials, the police officer and the defense force officers, they have made their appearances in court. I understand they're in discovery now, and we'll see what happens.
And finally, PM, if you indulge me, let's talk politics, right? Although you guys are political rivals, we see the former Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis.
Okay, so I don't know what's just moved on to talk foolishness about Minnis. Seriously, but what now? What? Huh? And why is he commenting on?
Said to himself at this point, let me just quickly change the subject because
You're there like let's help you, Prime Minister, and get you out of this complete sewer that you put yourself in.
See if we could,
And let's steer you into something that could get you worked up in the right way. Talk about Minnis.
Right.
Oh my God. Huh? So, as the NASA Guardian rightly reports today, Laverne, give you a second. So, our Travis Cartwright Cal writing about this is a complete change in tone from just a few months ago, right? The Prime Minister had said in previous speeches that that he promised that the betrayal of the officers will not go unanswered. He said, quote, "In light of these serious allegations, I want to assure this House and the Bahamian people that my government will act swiftly and decisively. We will engage with our U.S. partners and assist fully in this investigation. The defendants will have their day in court where the guilt or innocence of each will be established, but we cannot wait, and we will not wait for the outcomes of court proceedings in the United States. We're going to use every resource and consider every option so that Bahamians can trust those who take an oath to protect them. This is essential. Everything is on the table. We will have change, we will have reform, and we will have action." Wait, so who was the guy yesterday? Was that the Prime Minister, or was that somebody doing a Mission Impossible thing?
And I guess based on our investigation now, it's concerning.
Really? While this matter is like before the courts in the U.S., you are going to say that because you get yourself entrapped into trafficking cocaine. Because
absolutely, the people asked and they agreed. Why did they ask?
Why did you ask me? Okay, right. You try to set me up, but I can do it.
Exactly,
I can do it. But don't ask me it. Plenty of things I'll do if you ask, but don't ask me. Right. If you don't ask, ain't no problems. Don't ask, and you don't, and you won't receive. Okay.
I'm glad you're understanding how this train of thought works. It was right. Well, you saw.
Well, I could blame the fast food people.
When I said that to you, I was like, "Is this real?"
Well, I'm going to accuse the fast food restaurants of entrapping me. Because if you're asking me, what would you like today? What you asking me for? You're trying to trap me. I don't want this burger. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh boy, Holy Week.
One of his best moments.
After that fire,
one of the best responses. And just a suggestion as a listener, as an observer, that perhaps Mr. Rami should be present.
Oh, well, is that going to make anything better? That will only make it worse. Come on now. So with the fire and with the comments yesterday,
Rami may need to be there because we got to fix it.
Well, we expect a call soon to fix it.
I expect from moving forward, perhaps how it should work is that a reporter will ask the Prime Minister a question. The Prime Minister should then tell Mr. Rami what he wants to say, and then Mr. Rami should say it.
I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But okay, I hear you. Well, with the fire yesterday, which was massive, and then those comments, Holy Week is seeming more like Holy Bleep Week to me, unfortunately. Oh, this is crazy. Let's take some calls and get your text messages. 323-6232. What do you think's going on with the PM? 325-4316. 325-4259. And 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, what say you on this?
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Dwight, like I always say, we're delighted to have you to help us digest some of these stuff in the mornings, especially in the mornings, Dwight. We're delighted. But Dwight, also I wanted to thank you on behalf of most of your audience and listeners for entrapping us into a good place to get this news and the stories and hear things like what our prime minister.
Well, we'll deal with it in court. Let's deal with it in court.
That kind of entrapment is good, Dwight. But Dwight, I'm just as lost as you are. And I was trying to figure out, like, how is Dwight talking about everything else except the entrapment this morning?
We had to work our way up to that.
Oh, okay, okay. But Dwight, I'm trying to figure out, right, if you could help us to understand, like put in context, either the context that the Prime Minister meant or the context of Webster's dictionary of what entrapment is. I think we got to go down what entrapment really is. Because if you read the indictment, it says that allegedly that the police plane was used in this ordeal and all. So, like, did they trap the police plane? Help us understand the context of the Prime Minister's entrapment. Like Cole said, on you said, you believe we'll get a call from Mr. Rahman. Mr. Rahman don't need to change the statement. He just needs to help us understand.
I only think it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I don't think let's not encourage that.
We need to know what Dwight, our Prime Minister says that he perceives that this is entrapment. Dwight, we don't need a change in story. We need the facts from the Prime Minister as to what lead him to believe or sense at this juncture of the case when one of them was just extradited out of the Dominican Republic last week.
Well, remember now, apparently that is not the right guy. So this is a really wacky situation here. But that's a good idea to read the definition of entrapment, and as you suggested from Webster's, here we go. So number 1A, the definition, it's a noun, the act of or process of entrapping. B, the condition of being entrapped, right? So of luring an individual into committing a crime in order to prosecute the person for it. Laverne, have you ever been entrapped before?
Unfortunately, no.
You said unfortunately?
I have not. I said fortunately.
Oh, fortunately, yes, fortunately.
I have never been entrapped.
I think you have to be a little bit stupid to be entrapped into committing a crime, though, right? You have a stupidity level that is astoundingly
in my head,
high.
I'm trying to figure out why the Prime Minister would say what he said. So perhaps, Dwight, he is privy to information that we are not, that led him to believe that maybe there was some entrapment involved.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I could come up with. Perhaps he is privy to more than we are. He saw something based on our investigation, and so it brought him to this point where he feels that he's concerned maybe there might be some entrapment.
Okay. Well, if you're foolish enough to fall...
Yes, Dwight, I'm grasping at straws. Yes, I'm grasping at straws, but I have to, I'm trying to, even if that was, why would you say that?
Yeah. If you are foolish enough to fall for the trap, you still did it. You still committed the crime. So you still have to pay for your crimes. But these are senior men. These are not children. Right. These weren't children.
And
they know better.
That's why I'm saying, because somebody asked you, you have to agree. If somebody approaches you, Dwight, and they say, hey, Dwight, are you able to drive a getaway car?
No, it'll be a little better than that.
And then you go like, yes.
It'll be no. That's not the way it works.
Then you say, "Oh my God, I committed myself to this because I told them I can do this."
No, that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. They'll say, "Hey,
I'm sorry.
Hey, have you ever wanted to drive a Ferrari?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes." Okay, so what I'm gonna need you to do, Ferrari, in front of a bank, and just wait for us as we go in to get some things, and then you drive the Ferrari off, right? How does that sound? Don't worry, we'll be wearing masks. You think you can do this?
I don't even think it was that. That's too involved, Dwight.
You think? Well,
that's
okay.
too involved.
Well, this is a major indictment.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what the thought process was. I don't know why. I just couldn't believe that he said that. But then, like I said, the only conclusion that I could come to was that the Prime Minister has information that we are not aware of. And based on this information, he is concerned that there was entrapment. So I'm gonna just say, I'm just gonna, to be able to justify this in my mind so that I could move
Well,
on for the
see,
rest of
Laverne,
Holy Week,
he's
I'm gonna think
no.
that he knew something
You can't
that
think
we
that
didn't know.
because he said he's not heard from anybody.
Heard
So
him,
where are you
I
getting
know,
this
I
from?
know.
Right? So you are planting seeds to cast doubt
Yeah.
on what's happened here so far, and that is not your business, and you should stay out
And
of it.
perhaps that's the reason why you haven't heard anything, because of statements like this.
And especially now, since we've not heard who the politician is, who was right, caught all of a sudden in. Okay, anyway, somebody's texting saying, yeah, they would ask you to drive the getaway car, especially if they see how fast you drive. Like, wow, okay, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
You're spreading lies. There's no point.
Okay, see, that's what you get. Not just Mr. Ramming, you get that as well. So that's great. That's great. Oh, boy. I guess when we give out those numbers, we are entrapping people to call in to scare. It's, boy.
You know, people have minutes, and you know that they could call,
Mm-hmm.
and then you give the numbers
We're
out.
all guilty.
But this is ridiculous, and it certainly does not help our image.
I don't know. Maybe he was in the sun for a bit yesterday. Perhaps that's what's happening here. You know, you got to limit sun exposure. It's getting hot again. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight, and good morning to Laverne.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
The Prime Minister just qualified himself to be called, be subpoenaed to actually make a statement when these cases come up in court, because he may have some information that the U.S. does not have. Because I have seen there are two meanings to the word entrapment, the legal definition and the general definition. I won't go into them, but he may have another meaning as a lawyer that he could educate the whole world on. And that'll be a good thing for the Bahamas, because we have just have a prime minister who's educating the whole planet as to what the new meaning of the word entrapment is. And then he should be the one now to go there and represent them and get them off.
Okay.
And that should entrap him.
Oh, boy. Well, yeah, maybe the definition of entrapment is getting stupid people to do stupid things. And then, okay. There you go. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Maybe, you know, sorry, go ahead.
We'll give it, yeah. Caller, you're on the air.
Dwight, take your hand off that button. Take your hand off that button. I can
Don't say anything crazy. Don't entrap us. Don't entrap us.
Dwight, take your hand off that button. And I tell Laverne, some spreading rumors this morning, but she was never entrapped.
What?
Laverne,
yes,
31 years entrapped.
That was an entrapment.
She was a willing participant.
I'm dead serious. But listen, Dwight, what y'all got to understand, you know, I realized in the last few weeks, the word KC and QC means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I don't know. It
One
means
time
something,
before,
all
them
right.
fellas used to earn them stuff. But the utterances would just come out of some of them mouths with got this KC and thing in the front of them, it leaves me floored. You understand now? The Prime Minister was not speaking. Let me help you all this morning. He was not speaking to the thing in the States, you know. He was talking to the reporter. You trying to entrap me? That's what he was saying. But of course,
whatever.
Dwight, look at it, Dwight. He ain't nothing from the United States or whatever the case may be. And the reporter asked him that question. And what you think could come out of them KC gone queer people's mouth in terms of KC? You trying to entrap me? That's what he was doing.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a way to spin it.
That's
Yeah,
you spun it right off the table. I mean, it broke
it.
how much you spun that just now. I don't think that works.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Because the Prime Minister, quite frankly, did say the whole case is concerning to him because, you know.
This is insane. This is really and
it's
very disappointing.
I think you know, maybe the Prime Minister's experience as a defense attorney may have kicked in.
Yeah, well, he's not that anymore, and this is a matter for the U.S. Bahamians get themselves mixed up in a lot of foolishness here. there, and all over the place. Let their courts deal with this. You don't need to say that. You were asked a question. Have you heard anything? No, we haven't. And we still would like to know who that politician is. And we will continue to press the issue. Bam! End of story. Next question. Why you ask me about minutes? Who cares? Right. Thank you. I got to go. But see? Look at that.
And this is why, Dwight, you are not Prime Minister.
Exactly. And never will be.
This is why. This is exactly
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
And good morning to Lauren.
Good
Are
morning.
you applying to Dwight? Are you applying this morning for the job of being the Prime Minister's political advisor?
No way, Jose. Never. And to bring back bad memories, NPO. No.
in that case, I think let's be concerned you're not applying for that job, and we're not in the business of trying to manage whether the Prime Minister was sufficiently politically correct, et cetera, et cetera. Let's look at it from another angle. When the U.S. first presented their case as Prime Minister of the Bahamas and taking the State Department and all the other agencies who might have been involved in presenting that information, taking them at face value, he made a statement as the head of the country. Mm-hmm. Since that has happened, I will add what Lauren has just said. Many of the Prime Minister's nature, which is training as someone who's defended drug personnel, drug accused in the past, understands the law, and in this particular case, come down along the line on some areas that I have always had concern and many concerns in how the U.S. Approaches these indictments and extraditions. Part of that instinct perhaps would have kicked in over the months, and he would have been understanding certain things that does raise his concern. He's also someone that has responsibility in making sure that the jurisdiction of the Bahamas, the laws of the Bahamas, and the procedures and all the things are respected. That is his responsibility as the custodian of the Prime Minister and the Chief Law Enforcement of the Bahamas. And you might not be privy to what he knows, and he might be saying that there is another side to this whole episode that concerns him, and as it relates to the jurisdiction of the Bahamas and how the U.S. might have proceeded to arrive at a point of arresting these persons, et cetera, et cetera. I would say this, allow for the fact that worked in interdiction. The U.S. have a history of acting outside of the bounds of protocol. And Prime Minister isn't saying that because he's probably just speaking from the top of his head. He's an experienced lawyer. And in this case, I'm going to trust the Prime Minister's judgment that he knows things that is very concerning as how the U.S. proceeded in this matter. And I'm going to leave that right there.
You really believe that? Yeah? Okay, he's gone. Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there?
Hello, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight. Yeah, man.
Are you there?
If the Prime Minister knows something, sorry, and good morning to you too, Miss Freeport.
Laverne,
sorry, yes. Yeah, the Prime Minister really needs to go because at the end of the day, everybody knows if a case goes, based on what this gentleman was saying, that the Prime Minister knows something, right? But if that case went to Delaware, right? The case have a 98% sending people to jail situation going over there. These people are not like how we just operate, right? So for the Prime Minister to allege that entrapment, right? I mean, come on, man. Yes, they do things like that in America, yeah. But at the end of the day, really can't entrap you into nothing, eh? Right? Because these people they just operate off evidence, not like in the Bahamas. You know, that's my friend, that's my boy. You know, let them out and let them. You know, Diana, just Mr. Prime Minister, please call the election, man. You know, because you know next year this time we won't be beyond this, man, Dwight. You all have a nice day.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get in some more calls before we have to take a break. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning. Hi, you're on.
Sorry, I'm trying to find out if, based on, can you play the statement again, Dwight, from the Prime Minister again, just so that we're not entrapped in misunderstanding. But if the Prime Minister is saying that he did not hear anything officially from the United States, then how did he get the entrapment? I'm now in.
Yeah, this is what we're saying.
Figure this out, Dwight.
Right.
He's trapped me in trying to figure this out now.
It is quite something. I feel boxed in and caged. Let's take another call. We'll play that a little bit later. We'll play it again. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Dwight. Good morning. This is huge. You know, in a criminal defense, there is an enticement and there is an entrapment. And entrapment means that the United States law enforcement created the criminal intent, rather as to entice or induce someone to commit something. And that's a huge accusation against the United States law enforcement in regards to that, because it's simply taking the legal defense that the person had no means of doing or would have never even considered that they was then almost forced into the position for which they did something. Entrapment requires you to induce someone to commit a crime they would have not otherwise committed. Mm-hmm. So I think the Prime Minister, especially from a legal perspective, owes us not from Latre ramming or anything else. He owes us an explanation, written or spoken or otherwise, to how he has determined the criminal intent of what would have happened and how he determined the various means of pressure.
Yeah. But also, someone's reminded me about this as well. So remember that a few weeks ago we ran a story that that in this matter, plea deals were being considered. Just process that, right? This is the Prime Minister was out of order, very much.
No, he was totally out of order in the position that he has taken, and more so for the fact that he's pending and waiting for naming a high level political person, because it's almost like he is preempting and implying that even that person would have to be entrapped rather than entice. Entice is to exploit existing intent, and so. The Prime Minister owes us an explanation. The Attorney General owes us an explanation in regards to this, because they would have to share information. Thank you so much.
Well, I bet you won't hear anything from the Attorney General. I don't think anybody wants to touch this. Let's take another call before we go to the news. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Golly, this is Strachan, the voice along with you on the word, Dwight.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
What I want to find out, Dwight, why is it that the word intent came in there when the United States people got the drugs from the individual?
What now? Sorry?
I want to know why somebody used the word intent when the people in America find the guys with the drugs, found the guys with the drugs. That's not intent. And the person that they find the people with the drugs.
It's a little more complicated than that. It's a conspiracy. It's a long process. This was over a number of years, so it's not like you're walking through the airport with some stuff. It's bigger than that. It's a real smuggling, trafficking operation, and that's what the accusations lead to. All right, stem from. So we've got a whole bunch of your text messages to get to, and there are more calls coming. We'll get to those after the break, and we'll try to play that for you again when we get back from the news. But this is Morning Blend on a Tuesday here on Guardian Radio. We're going to be back in just a bit. Stay with us here.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796 on the BTC-powered text line. And now it is time for another check of your weather for today at 8:24, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got a high-pressure system drifting eastwards across the Bahamas today. This dry and stable air mass is going to limit rainfall activity throughout the islands. A light and gentle breeze and calm seas expected over most areas, but we've got for the southeastern islands. But tropical moisture from the Caribbean Sea will create unsettled weather across the southeast Bahamas beginning tomorrow. And a few isolated showers will accompany a frontal boundary across the northern and northwest Bahamas before stalling into the central Bahamas by Thursday. So for your holiday weekend, expect strong breezes and rough seas across the area. There's also a moderate risk of rip currents along east-facing shorelines of the southeast Bahamas today. But for now, a mix of sun and clouds are partly cloudy to cloudy for most areas, turning fair tonight. Less than a 10% chance of showers, though, slightly elevated for the southeastern islands. But high temperatures today around 83 Fahrenheit, 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius for most areas. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 63 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius, slightly warmer in the southeastern islands. In your extended outlook for Wednesday, tomorrow, partly cloudy across the northern northwest Bahamas, cloudy for the central and southeastern islands, a 20% chance of showers for the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, a 20 to 50% chance of showers for the southeastern islands. By Thursday, partly sunny during the day, becoming fair at night. And for Good Friday, partly sunny during the day, becoming fair at night. Saturday, your holiday weekend, partly sunny during the day, becoming fair at night. Pretty much the same for Easter Sunday. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Walls looking a little ow? Well, swing by Sherwin-Williams Paints for a fresh coat of wow. Best customer service, bold colors, and bargain prices. They've got it all. Sherwin-Williams Paints. Let's roll. And time for a check of your traffic, brought to you by RBC. Reaching your goals happen here. And schools are closed for the most part, and so you're seeing the much better traffic conditions in the mornings. Still have some heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway, though, but it is well north of Fire Trail as you approach Harold Pond if you're heading northbound, all the way up to Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. Traffic backed up just a little bit on Tonic Williams-Darling Highway westbound toward that roundabout. Elsewhere, Blue Hill Road, manageable. Once you get north of Soldier Road, as you can get over that hill to Independence Drive, you're going to be seeing that line in front of you. And really not much more to talk about besides that. So that is a pretty smooth morning commute for you. That's your Morning Blend traffic, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
Printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let print masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
Boys, so glad you made it to Dad's birthday dinner.
Thanks, Mom. This gift is from me.
And me too?
No way.
Fine.
Hi, boys. Who's messaging? Oh, it's a deposit from CIBC Caribbean First Pay from Ricardo. Son, you're so thoughtful.
He sure is. For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Only get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, and you'll surely find color in every day.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. Is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
We're back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Tuesday, filling in for DeQuesta Dean. And we are talking about what's in the news, talking about the Prime Minister's very interesting comments on the U.S. indictment, the drug smuggling, the cocaine smuggling operation in the U.S. We learned about in November, and wondering what the shift in the tone is all about from when he said he was going to turn over every stone to find out who was involved in this, how widespread this operation was. And remember, there's a great editorial in the Tribune today. Laverne, remember the commission of police resigned, not necessarily because of this, but a black eye on his time in office. And it's just really, really, really weird what's going on here. So we got a whole lot of your messages to get to, but I want to replay, just for those who might have missed it, what the Prime Minister said. So again, he was asked about this. Remember, after this news broke last year, and in the indictment it said that a politician, a claim was made that a politician would be able to help facilitate this smuggling operation. So the Prime Minister said they sent a diplomatic note to the U.S. to get more information. So this is what the reporter asked the Prime Minister yesterday.
Or the government, rather, sent a note following the indictment that was released on the senior government official. Have you heard back from them?
Not a word.
Is that concerning at all, that all this time has passed and nothing is done?
That whole operation is concerning to me. Because on the face of it, it appeared to be an entrapment of officers, and that is concerning. So I've not heard from them. So we're just trying to reiterate to the two officials, the police officer and the defense force officers, who have made their appearances in court. I understand they're in discovery now, and we'll see what happens.
And finally,
okay, all right. And as we reminded you, there was talk of plea deals. You don't do that if you're innocent. I don't know. That's not how, right, Laverne? Am I imagining things? Right. You know, let me do a plea deal because I'm innocent. Boy, oh boy. Anyway,
it was just an unfortunate comment. Honestly, like, you know, the more I think about it, you don't know anything. Well, according to you, you haven't heard a word. Let's go from the beginning. According to you and what we found out, what was said, you did not know anything. Mm-hmm. It doesn't appear as if you've gotten any further word, but you're going to say this is concerning because it appears like entrapment of officers. What do you know that we don't know?
My goodness. Let's take this call quickly, and then we want to get to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, this is John calling back.
Okay.
I'm very, very vested in the public discourse as relates to this issue for a number of reasons. Number one, again, Laverne said, and as did a previous caller when it came down to the Prime Minister, stating that he had not heard back from the United States government on his initial communication. Mm-hmm. And it seems as if the public discourse is inferring that because he didn't hear back from the U.S., that he could not have had further information. Is that what you're saying, Laverne?
No, I'm asking. No, is what I'm asking.
Because I'm asking
for him to make that statement. In my mind, he must be privy to something that we're not aware of. So precisely. I'm saying, what is it that would bring him to that conclusion that this looks like entrapment?
Precisely. And I want to make it clear, I believe that the Prime Minister's source of information does not only have to be the United States government. He answered the reporter's question correctly when the reporter said, did you hear back from them? No, he didn't. That doesn't mean that he didn't continue to have additional information on the matter. Further, what I want to say is this, and I would be the first to admit that I have an inherent bias when it comes down to the American government and law enforcement cross-border. I've worked with them. I have 20 years that I've worked with them in two different operations. I've seen them work. I'm saying that to say this, that ask your reporter, when we define conspiracy, let's move from entrapment to conspiracy. When you define conspiracy, it is the act of a number of people working together to carry out a specific illegal act, if I may put it in layman terms. These officers that were arraigned, do we know the names in the United States that they were conspiring with? Were any U.S. citizens or any person on the U.S. side arraigned alongside of them in court? Ask your reporter to look into that. And I'm going to leave that question right there as an open-ended question. And I close by saying this, Dwight. For years, the people of the Bahamas have been quite comfortable with allowing the United States government to set the tone of crimes committed as it pertains to drug enforcement. And I would say the time has come for the Bahamian reporters to start looking on the other side of the story and stop allowing and thinking that because the United States say that they found and acted a certain way that everything is kosher. They have a reputation, me having worked with them, I will tell you this, for not always acting above board when it comes down to interdiction, extradition, and cross-border crimes. I can leave that right there.
All right. So you're not saying that Bahamians are not involved in illegal activities and drug smuggling. Oh, he's gone again. Okay. Well, because that would be crazy to say that, right? But interesting. Wow. Again, entrapment doesn't mean that you didn't commit the crime, if that is even what happened here, right? Because you could just say, hey, no, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Not me. Get away from me. So, interesting. All right, so I just want to read these couple lines here from this editorial in the Tribune today. So, they're noting that the Prime Minister's comments yesterday are very far from what he said a few months ago in the House, which you read for you earlier. And it says the government has still not received a response from U.S. officials to a diplomatic note asking for more information about the unnamed politician. And it was when asked about that Mr. Davis expressed his concerns. Here's the thing about that diplomatic note, however. U.S. court officials do not need to respond. Their job is to complete their investigation and carry out their prosecutions, not any political ramifications. And it seems clear from the indictment that there has been a lack of trust when it comes to sharing information with Bahamian authorities in case it falls into the wrong hands. And recent reports U.S. suggest plea deals are being considered, just to remind you there. Right? And it should be concerning that you've not heard back from them. Why is that? Why is that?
Right.
But, All right. We really have a lot of text messages, callers. Let me take one more, and then we've got to get to the text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, morning. Hi, morning to all. I just wanted to make a comment, though, because the entrapment comment is interesting when you look at the indictment itself and then the subsequent behavior of the federal government afterwards. Because in the indictment, they say that they had these gentlemen, speaking of a politician, that would take a $2 million bribe to facilitate this crime, and then they brought the indictment to the public. They basically ended the investigation after that, it seems like, because they locked everyone up or brought the indictment. Since they brought the indictment, which I find amazing, the Fed not being able to take down a government official who's willing to take bribes for drugs, that's amazing. But aside from that, they have not released the name of this said person who allegedly they wasn't interested in going after. And then subsequently past that, they haven't sent in any extradition requests for the people in the indictment either. That, to me, leads me to wonder if the Fed's really on case.
Okay. Well, again, talking about plea deals, but hey, all right, we'll see how this goes. And this is all the reason why the Prime Minister should be talking, right? Now you've thrown this stuff in there, and people are going to be, why? It wouldn't be appropriate for him to do that with a matter here. It's just weird. Let me read these messages. This person says here, I don't think many understand the amount of, this is back to Aisha Bowe. The amount of math and science Aisha Bowe has achieved to be a rocket scientist, the Prime Minister's remarks will soon be followed by an explanation from Ramming at OPM. Oh, you're back to that now. He hopes that we, the Bahamian electorate, somehow doubt the U.S. enforcement and judicial process. Shame the devil, Prime Minister, and cast the evil out. Okay. This person says here, oh boy, okay. I don't know if I want to read this one. Well, okay, that doesn't apply here, Texter. Anyway,
are you reading it?
I don't think I'm.
All right.
This person says the U.S. doesn't trust or respect Bahamian officials. What? Hence the lack of a response. As far as entrapment, if those officers weren't corrupt, they wouldn't be in their present situation. Well, allegedly. This person says here, anybody with an understanding of the law, such as the Prime Minister, would come to the conclusion that the mentioned case is entrapment. The charges would dictate that. Please stop allowing your caller to make silly statements about the police plane was never used for any illegal activities. Did that happen today? Did I miss that? The entire indictment is a phone conversation. Sure, the entire thing is that. Okay. Hey, hopefully the injured firefighters are okay, but this is back to the fire. But I am concerned about the fact that the fire wasn't better contained from the onset. It seemed like a much smaller fire at the rear of the building during the morning hours, and then 5 hours later, the entire structure was ablaze. Well, structures. Yeah. Dwight, entrapment is illegal. And illegal in the Bahamas. I think it's based on the information he has now. I want a Prime Minister to speak up for me if he thinks that I was entrapped based on the information he has. Yeah, good luck. Maybe he's the high... Oh, no. Okay. On 2 occasions, an underage child tried to convince me that it would be a great thing to date them. What is this? So, Dwight, entrapment is real. It's happening every day. I didn't take either of them up on their offer, by the way.
So,
oh boy,
they read that again.
You sure? Are you sure you want me to read that again?
No, because they're saying that there was an attempt to entrap them, correct? But they did not take them up on the offer.
By an underage child. Oh dear.
Right. But there was an intent for them to be entrapped, but they didn't accept the offer. Okay.
No,
so.
Oh boy, you need to report that child. Like, talk to their parents or talk to somebody about the child because they're looking for trouble and going to get themselves into problems. But different situation now. Was the child working for the authorities, or just being a teenager? Anyway, that's not a good example.
Seek to get
really not a good
help,
example.
But it was a poor example,
seriously, terrible example. And I hope you did more than just text us about it. Anyway, wow. I
hope so.
I feel creepy now. I feel like I need to shower.
Why'd you read it?
It started off with something else, and then it just like, whoa, what's this?
It veered into that.
Yeah. Dwight, you have to remember that the Prime Minister is a defense lawyer. Okay. Another text. If a senior officer can be entrapped this easily, then he can... this is a simple situation. The politician has been flipped by the U.S. and is now a confidential informant. That's all. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, boy. The person says that the Prime Minister was suffering from the smoke inhalation. I don't think this happened at that location. This was at the domestic violence, I believe. I believe it was at that one. Or was it at the Ritz-Carlton thing in Eleuthera? I'm not sure where he said that. Not too sure. But it wasn't at the fire. I don't believe that. That would have been a good excuse, though. This person says the question is, who was the high-ranking official? Was that person named? Clearly, that person is connected. This spells trouble for other politicians. Dwight, you're entrapping Dave by talking about the PLP. Okay.
When did we do that?
Yeah, well, he certainly likes to call in every day. This person says here, whether the Prime Minister knows things or has conflicting information, the investigation is ongoing, which means everyone should reserve speculation until all information is presented. Doesn't that make sense? Why he would say that? It just is mind-boggling.
It's like you said, he could have just left it at no.
No, not yet. We're still
When the
waiting.
reporter asked, not at this time, and then said, and if the reporter said to him, well, is that concerning that you haven't heard? It is, but we continue to whatever and leave it as that.
Absolutely. This person says, I really believe the Prime Minister already knows who that person is. Give me a break. There is a lot of nonverbal communication happening, and it's evident with the Prime Minister's response to the questions yesterday. As the leader of the country that for all intents and purposes serves as the United States' third border, as he said with his own words, nobody has said anything to him. What does that say? In such a volatile time with the current U.S. administration, why would the Prime Minister put on his lawyer hat as opposed to his leader hat? As a former U.S. police officer, the United States Supreme Court allows for officers in the execution of their duty to employ tactics to apprehend criminals, regardless of those considerations. No matter how much law enforcement misleads, innocent people don't deal drugs, period. Indeed.
That's what I've been saying. Just because someone presents you with something, it doesn't mean that you have to go along with it.
We're taught that from we were children, right?
It just, right. It doesn't mean that you have to agree. Just because they offer you money to look the other way doesn't mean that you have to, one, take the money, two, look the other way.
Okay. This is insane. Michael Pintard needs to let Minnis take over leadership of the F&M for a few months so that he can write a play called Entrapment.
Oh, God.
I'm sure he could do it right now, while still being the leader of the opposition. The Prime Minister knows what he's saying. Don't forget he... and they're calling names of people he represented in the past. Wow. Some of these texts are getting out of control. Maybe in turning over every stone. No. Whoa. Okay. The text line is wackier than the phone lines, folks, if you could believe that. The things that people are saying. Oh, boy. I'll just, maybe, Laverne, why don't you hum while I read some of these to myself?
Okay.
I can find some that I might be able to read on air. This one says, entrapment is a valid legal defense in criminal law. It essentially argues that a defendant was induced by a government agent to commit a crime they wouldn't otherwise have committed. To succeed with an entrapment defense, two elements must be proven. And they haven't said what the other two are. I gotta wait for the next episode. I don't know what the deal is with that. But while
waiting for the two.
We're waiting for it, but they didn't send it.
Okay.
Maybe that's the homework. Go and find out and report back to class tomorrow. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I'm Dwight, on your co-host.
Hi.
Now, I think the Prime Minister misspoke because the evidence is still sealed. Nobody knows I'm the third hand yet. We got a case. We got a preview of it last week when they called the wrong name. They went to the DDR and lock up this person because find out he sound like he's Haitian because they're indicting the one who they carried who they took to the States. So we got a piece of the deal.
Or the person has multiple aliases. It could be all kinds of things. But something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Blue.
Yes.
His nickname Blue. They thought he was him, and then he don't. It was a big mix-up.
It is a mix-up.
So let's say, right, there's something called coercion. I've seen federal judges throw out cases. The police keep nagging you, coercing you to do this, nagging you, entrapping you. I've seen cases get thrown out because the feds, they can be dirty when they want to now. They can be dirty. They can send people at you, get your best friend to turn on you. let's see what the case has. What is the evidence? What is the evidence when it comes out? Now, I was shocked when the man say they're ready to take a plea deal, but they haven't shown no evidence yet of the case. So we'll see that most of the New York prosecutors Trump fire to the office. I don't know how they're going to do it because the senior prosecutor, the black guy.
You don't have to go this far. But anyway, when the matter comes up, I'm sure we'll learn some shocking information. One more call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Yeah, morning, Dwight and Laverne again. Grammy Boy, GNN. I have one question. Maybe you and Laverne or the nation could help me. When was the last time the Prime Minister been away?
Why?
I don't know. I know since Donald Trump said something about visas, he ain't gone nowhere since.
I don't think that's accurate, but okay. We don't need to add this type of... Ah, boy. Let's go back to the text line. I mean, it's just like, I don't understand. Anyway, isn't the Prime Minister, this is a text, isn't the Prime Minister concerned that he has not had any response from the U.S., and why wouldn't he follow up with another inquiry? We don't know if he didn't. Isn't he concerned about accusations against a member of Parliament? I'm sure everybody is. Everybody is. Everybody is concerned. This person says here, he said he hasn't heard officials, so that doesn't rule out the defense attorney. Also, I'm thinking entrapment would be narrowed down to an undercover law enforcement agent enticing these persons to commit the crimes as opposed to, say, a drug dealer bringing these alleged offenders in the loop. Just a thought. Right. The FBI is very thorough in their actions, and our country, we're not baby lambs. These are all officials, and we are known for bootlegging and drug trafficking for many, many years. Yikes. Set them up is what the police do over here also, so don't call it entrapment. I have a question. So, do you agree with the opposition leader calling for a commission of inquiry? Sure. What was the response we got? What did they say, Laverne? Was that about this, or was that about something else? It was too expensive. Remember that? It was not the right use of resources at this time. It was about this. Yeah? Or about many things happening over the last few months. But that told it was not a good use of resources. Yeah. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Dwight?
Doing well.
Okay, Dwight, I just want Laverne to know the U.S. is the most corrupt nation on the face of the earth.
You sure about that?
Not because we're a third world country mean by we automatically wrong. Look how much people they lock up right from Freeport who they have entrapped. Come on, man, the Prime Minister stand up for us.
Okay.
You sending this message to me?
Because you're from Grand Bahama, I guess. I truly doubt they're the most corrupt. Truly doubt that. But okay. So everybody's in it. We didn't have a drug smuggling problem in the 80s. That was all made to look bad. We've never had drug lords. Is that what we're saying?
I don't really know what we're saying.
Okay. No people with unexplained wealth in the country. Not at all.
All I'm saying is just because someone makes you an offer, creates a certain set of circumstance, does not mean that you have to act on something that you know is not right. Now, if somehow they coerced you, forced you, that's different. But I'm just saying that if someone sits down and they talk to you, they present this offer and you know that it's not right, you do have the option to not go with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One more. Well, let's take these two final calls. We're running out of time for this segment. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there, caller? Good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi.
In terms of this entrapment thing, when I listened to the interview the second time, Dwight, in the context of the reporter asking, have you heard anything further on the senior politician being involved or whom that person is? And then the Prime Minister's response was the context of the entrapment. could it possibly be that the entrapment is also related to any information that he may be privy to, like some callers say, by virtue of him
breaking up?
That entrapment is involved there too.
What you said there, I'm not sure. You're breaking up.
No, I'm asking.
All right, something's going on with your phone again. But let's take that call, and then we're going to get to the final messages and go to the news. Good morning, caller, on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne.
Hi, good morning.
You know, Dwight, you were talking about you made the comment about us, I guess, forgetting that we had a drug problem here in the 80s, early 90s. Fake news, Dwight, fake news.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, what I wanted to say is, if it was, if the Prime Minister saw it as truly an entrapment, when he got the information, why didn't he come to us and say, listen, this is what I got, and it seems like it's an entrapment. Why did he wait till someone asked him? That's curious to me. It made me to believe that maybe the person involved, he refused to believe that person would be involved. Maybe somebody close to him is why he's now calling it an entrapment. And we all travel to the U.S. from time to time. If someone come and make us an offer for anything that we know we don't do whom, we are not a part of whom, we're not going to touch it. We're not even going to look in their direction. We will ignore, walk away, throw a Bahamian slang at you and go our way. So if you're entrapped, like the word said, it must be something you're familiar with.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's the way I see it.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. A few final text messages here. This person says, I agree with that previous caller. Everything the U.S. says, people believe it. Let the courts play out, and then we can say what we want. Okay. This texter says here, do they trap us because we're late to get somewhere that we didn't prepare for and it takes too long to change? Laverne, what do you make of that? Can you imagine a married man telling his wife that he committed adultery because the woman entrapped him? What a joke. I think many do say that. I think they actually do say that. It's a very common excuse. I don't think the Prime Minister was saying the officers were right to engage. He was just speaking to the entrapment. And text here, looks like the Prime Minister achieved his objective because every contributor has assumed the undercover agents enticed the officers to do something. The very opposite would be the foundation of the U.S. case. The undercover agent was busy eating lunch, and the officers suggested something like, give me $2 million. The important thing is the entire conversation is on video. We need a more equipped fire department. I ran errands around 10 in the morning, and that fire was still going on in the afternoon. Can you imagine just watching that whole place burn to the ground for hours? This is unacceptable. Well, I don't know what type of fire it was. I think maybe that contributed to it as well. There's a lot of stuff in there that probably was flammable. But I hear you. After the reporter's question, the Prime Minister's response, the next words out of his mouth should have been no comment. Perhaps. Laverne, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's much better now. Yeah.
Okay.
And could Elon Musk being allowed to do space things here be entrapment? Allow Elon or the U.S. will name you. Okay, now everyone's talking nonsense. It's getting crazy. Everybody calm down. Let's just end this here. Let's go to the news and regroup everybody. But we will continue to follow this, indeed, I am sure. All right, this is Morning Blend. Stay tuned for business here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Although I'm not making plans, I hope that you understand there's a reason why. Close your eyes. No more broken hearts. We're better off apart. Let's give it a try. Tell me.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This April, Dunkin' is spreading awareness and support for autism awareness. Did you know that autism affects 1 in 54 children? It is so important to show our support, and you can show your support by grabbing a signature blue donut from any Dunkin' location during April. Join us in raising awareness and support for REACH and the Seahorse Institute. Dunkin', fueling communities one blue donut at a time. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Are you uninsured and seeking a plan that can give you quality health care at discounted rates? Unlock affordable health care. Enjoy unlimited primary care visits, exclusive discounts of up to 20%, and complimentary imaging and nutrition services. Visit doctorshosp.com/LAMP to register. Comprehensive, cost-effective wellness starts with LAMP.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Aisha Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, today and explore.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Tuesday, and it is time for a monthly Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. We are very pleased to have back with us CEO Dr. Leo Roll, and she's in studio now for the second part of our discussion today. We've got the executive chair at the National Training Agency, the NTA, Agatha Marcel, and we're going to be talking with her in a little bit. But Dr. Leo Roll, you aren't with us in the studio today because you're all the way in India. Wow, which part of India are you in, and what time is it there?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Dwight. So we are in New Delhi, and it is, I think it's close to 6 o'clock. Yeah, almost 7 o'clock here in India.
Wow. Okay, that's very exciting. So you were telling us about this for months now, the mission to India. Tell us about it, how long you've been there, how long you will be there, and what's happening.
Right, so good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Marcel. So great to have you in studio for the second half. So as you've mentioned, Dwight, we've been teasing this for quite a while, and it's so interesting that we've been working at it for almost a year. To see it come to fruition really warmed my heart. So this is our trade mission to Vibrant Bilcon, which is the first of its kind in India. And it is a construction and textile industry conference where I know that there are a lot of persons, especially with the looming tariffs and the threats of impending costs being levied against ships, that have taken the wait-and-see approach, but that's not what we've done at the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. And so we've been
strategically trying to align our members with what we consider trade diversification. And so this is one way of doing that. We were able to get, through negotiations from almost a year ago, the Indian government to subsidize travel and accommodations for a number of businesses. We originally started with about 20, and at present, today, when we landed on, I think it was Saturday, I'm losing track of days, forgive me. But when we landed, I think Saturday, we had 60 delegates with us.
Oh my goodness.
And it is a cross-sectoral push. And so we were strategic in who we asked to join us. Of course, it was persons primarily in the windows, doors, textiles, tiles, cement, anything relative to the building and construction industry. Obviously, we invited our partners, the Ministry of Housing. So the Honorable Keith Bell, Minister of Housing, and a team from the Ministry of Housing is here. So the Permanent Secretary, Reginald Saunders, the Chief Housing Officer, Jeffrey Clark, and a Procurement Officer, Lorenzo Moss, is also with us. And they are, of course, lively and engaging with those who are able to provide those services or those goods directly to the Bahamas, where they can build those homes at a lower cost and pass that savings on to consumers. We have about, like I said, 60 businesses across sectors. We also have the Bahamas Customs. So we have Loretta Gomez, who is a deputy comptroller. And why that was important, obviously, there's a budget cycle coming up. And who better to get into the ear of the Prime Minister and those persons in the Minister of Finance, that's Prime Minister, and those persons who are pegged or tasked with the, exemptions or any type of concessions as Bahamas Customs. And so having them here to see what's being offered, to say, well, hey, PM, hey, FS, this is what we saw. This is where we think the opportunities are. We also have trade in industry. So Raquel Pinda is with us because obviously we can't do trade without having the Trade Commission present and accounted for. We have some financiers, so the Small Business Development Center as well as the Bahamas Development Bank are with us because, of course, they will be putting on those programs, those initiatives to help these businesses once they start to access these goods and services directly from India. They would be the ones to provide the impetus of funding. And finally, other than the businesses, we have some logistics companies. So we have Janelle Sahana of Exclusive Warehousing. And it's important to have, ShipX was also supposed to join us as well as CLX, but they, of course, will be updated when we have our postmortem. And that's important because you may have the idea to get these products from India, but how will you get them?
Right.
And so it's important to have those persons who are in that field, those experts who can be on the ground. They've had meetings all week where they were able to meet with shipping and logistics companies to see where there is an opportunity and how we will move these products. And then what I love about it is we don't have simply a Nassau push. I was very vocal when I joined last year that we continue to bridge the gap between the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and those Family Island chambers. And so I'm happy to say that we have a number of businesses that have joined us from the Family Islands, and we've extended the same courtesy that we have done with the New Providence chambers to those. And so we were able to pay for them as well to join us.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So you mentioned the logistics. So what are you seeing and hearing so far? How are you going to get your products from India to the Bahamas?
So it's interesting. I wanted to join. What I did was I joined one or two of the meetings with Hannah because I wanted to understand and hear first on, what is the thought process and how do we intend to get these items in? And interestingly enough, some of the suppliers are already shipping directly to the Bahamas through, of course, transshipment points like Jamaica, like the DR. And so that's interesting to note because it was something that we didn't originally know. Of course, we should have done our homework at the time, but nonetheless, it was something that was interesting to us. And we thought it would take around 8 to 9 weeks, but actually they can have shipments to the Bahamas as early as 30 days out. And so that's for us a game.
That's excellent.
Absolutely. It truly is, Laverne. I agree with you.
That's really cool. Okay, so costs. Do we have any idea in terms of costs, what that looks like?
So, of course, you know me, Dwight. I'm a negotiator, right? Given my sales background. And so I heard their cost, but it went in one ear and out the next, to be honest. Their cost is around $4,000 per container. They don't do it on a weight base. They do it on a container base. And so I heard that cost, but I'm going to continue to negotiate through Janelsa and, of course, through ShipX, through CLX Logistics, which are chamber members, by the way. So you had to be a chamber member, whether from the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce or the Family Island Chamber, to join us on this mission. And so I heard the cost, one, but I also know that I am going to continue to negotiate to see where there are opportunities. And what I like about it is this group of persons who were strangers before joining us. I intentionally didn't have any meetings to bring everyone together and say, introduce yourself. I wanted them to be in that natural element and to see how linkages naturally happen. I don't understand it, Dwight. I would have shared with you some of the kind of bloopers, et cetera, that have been going on. And it seems like they've been friends, colleagues, comrades, long before joining us. And you would hate to believe, or you couldn't believe, that you met them, each other less than a week ago, because they're already creating linkages and opportunities. Mind you, I've already done it in my mind and shown where, okay, here are 4 companies, one in probably tiles, one in cement, one in windows and doors, one in furniture, that can come together and perhaps get a couple of trailers, so that at the end of the day, it's not one company trying to pay for this shipment on its own. And so I see the connections already happening. And so I say, okay, here you go. So this is what I wanted. When I put them all in one room, and they say, well, hey, why don't we come together and get one container where we can have 4 different aspects in that one container to bring down the shipping costs and pass that savings on to the consumer. Although the consumers drag me all the time, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I work for the business community, but I also wanted to do it in tandem with how we can pass those savings on to those very same consumers.
Excellent. So are there any concerns, or should there be, about standards, about these products, U.S. standards, or standards that we have here in the Bahamas?
So that's a great question. That's always a concern, right? And so what I wanted to do was to ensure that we had persons who, so one of the persons who joined us is Verlie McKinney, who is an engineer by profession, but we also have Bentley Higgs, who is also an engineer by profession. And so what they are doing is, apart from their day-to-day business, they're looking at the standards. They're looking at what the U.S. requires. They're looking at what our building codes are. And Lorenzo Moss, who is from the Ministry of Housing, as well as Chief Housing Officer Clark, have been working and looking diligently to see and make sure that at the end of the day, it's not something where we, have that push towards cost or the reduction of cost while we compromise quality. One other challenge that I think we will have, so that is not a concern for us. I'll say that from the onset, given that a number of our businesses are already using products and services directly from India in a lot of the homes that are being built. But also because we are on the ground and we can see the quality, we can see the level of craftsmanship, we can see that a lot of these businesses that are actually producing, manufacturing these items directly from India are already sending them through the U.S. and we're just importing them from the U.S. And so it's just a matter of going directly to the horse's mouth, so to speak, so that we can get those savings passed on. But one other concern that we have is, of course, we've been a society that have been advertised to so well over the years. And so similarly to what we saw when we were able to get eggs, let's say, as an example, at a reduced rate, there's a hesitancy because it's not a recognizable brand. And so we note that may be a challenge because there's not a recognizable brand. Some customers or consumers may have a challenge with understanding that it really and truly, it's the same brand that you would have imported, just white labeled from somewhere else.
Wow.
And so an awareness campaign has to go on in tandem with us now beginning to get these products and services directly in, because it will come in unrecognizable for some consumers.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you said it's construction and textiles mainly, that's the focus, but have there been any products or sectors, industries that that you're seeing that surprise you, that, hey, we didn't think about this, but what about that?
No surprises. I think we had a pretty decent understanding and outline of what to expect before we came. We saw a lot of persons in the plumbing industry. We saw a push for renewable energy. So we have the youngest chamber member who's 19 years old, the owner of Safe Point Logistics. And so we have Tristan Hanna with us. And so he's in the renewable energies field. And that's important because, of course, we are in a rapid push towards by 2030, which I don't think we're going to make, but at least we're making headway. Mm-hmm. And so we saw those industries as well being displayed here. One of the things that I would have liked to have seen that we didn't, I know that we're using, there's a push, one of our members is using fiber rebars as opposed to the steel bars that you have to bend the columns. And I was hoping that we were able to see that here, but I don't know if the technology is here yet or they just haven't had it on display. But I know that when we had our inbound from Canada about a month ago, because that specific member sources directly out of Canada, it was important for him to be there, but his supplier was also here speaking about it. So I was looking to see if there's an opportunity to also diversify into India, but I haven't seen that. But no, there weren't any surprises of industries that were here. Well, I guess the shipping and logistics, I thought that in my mind, it was just an easier push towards having shipping and logistics here so that we can understand how to get these products here. But they thought the very same because there were quite a number of shipping companies and logistics companies who were there and ready to work with us and see how best we can get these products into the Bahamas, which really and truly isn't a strain because, as I said before, it's already being done in mass droves.
Amazing. CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Dr. Leo Roll. All right, so you said you've been there since Saturday. How?
So we're going to be here until Friday, Thursday, Friday, because they leave late Thursday night into Friday morning. And they've had quite a week. We started with the inaugural opening ceremony, and then we had a dinner and cultural show. We had, of course, the week of the conference and trade show. They spent the day sightseeing. Tomorrow they'll be back at the trade show, and then on Thursday they're going to go to the Taj Mahal. And then, of course, Friday they begin to that journey back home to the Bahamas. Wow. And if you've seen some of the aspects that I've sent you, Dwight, you would have seen that they really had a time of the conference. We had 60 members. Secondly, the Bahamas is known for its entertainment, so we had a number of persons who simply took the stage over. We had Mitzi Chipman that performed impromptu. We had Charlene Reed from Grand Bahama that really took the crowd on, and the MC needed help. We could see that she was kind of flailing, and so Charlene jumped in and assisted. But we also have Lifestyle Digital Media. I have to give a shout out to them who joined us as they've been journeying with us and following us and helping us to get the word out there. And so a lot of the videos and clips and memorabilia that we see have been shot by Ethan Quant himself, who is in India with us.
Nice. Wow, you all you're working, but it sounds like you're having a party as well. So that's the best of both worlds, I guess. All right, so that's happening after India. What's next?
So we've had just about last week Friday, I think it was, an opportunity for some persons in the financial services sector to go to Guangzhou, Yiwu City, for a seminar on financial management for belt and road construction, or countries, sorry. And so this is an all expenses paid for trip again, in partnership with the Chinese embassy. So the travel dates are April 17th through May 6th. Yes, I do note that it is short notice and it is just a few days away. But if you are interested, you simply need to complete the registration form. There's a link on our website. Complete the registration form, upload your passport page, upload your medical certificate, and you do need a reference from the chamber. So again, it means that you have to be a chamber member. But as with all things, I'm lenient. And so if you come and you're very much so interested, then we will simply complete the application, quickly make you a chamber member so that you're able to access that benefit to go to China, all expenses paid for, April 17th to May 6th.
Wow. 2 days. Okay. How many people?
Why are you filling out your application?
I mean, it
now,
sounds like a great opportunity. Eh? How many people can you accommodate for that?
So I asked that question, and it didn't seem like there was a standard number because they didn't have a cap And so I would say get as many applications or get your application in as quickly as possible. I've been since Friday streamlining who I was sending the information to. So there are a number of persons that have already registered who are directly in that space and our chamber members and are from the Family Islands as well. Again, on that concerted push to ensure that the Family Islands are always included in whatever we do. There's also, Dwight, an opportunity again, we heard about it earlier this week, for an APAS show. Now, admittedly, I tried for very long, a few hours actually, to figure out exactly what APAS stands for, and I still haven't gotten it yet. But I do know that it's a trade show in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's on May 12th through the 15th. And it is, again, chamber members, once they apply, can have all expenses paid. And it's for persons directly in the food and beverage or food and retail and wholesale industry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that is, as I said, another opportunity to diversify where you get products and services. So think about it now. You've had an inbound from China, from Canada, about a month ago. Persons are now on the ground in India. There are some persons who've already been accepted, so they will be on the ground in China. And now you have persons who will be on the ground in Brazil or South America. And so how much better can you get it for your chamber membership?
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, all the information you need to be a member of the chamber on your website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, excellent.
Well, Dr. Roll, I just want to say before you go, kudos to you and to the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce for having the foresight to begin to do these things in light of everything that's happening. And I'm very excited to hear about all of the inroads that has happened in New Delhi.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Laverne. Dwight, just before I think we but I wanted to also provide this opportunity. AmCham, or the American Chamber of Commerce, we've been working diligently with them, and they have an opportunity for a global summit breakfast, and that's on Monday the 28th at 7:30. It's at the Adonis Conference Room in the Coral Towers. They've invited us to extend that invitation to chamber members. Now, there's a virtual option and there's also an in-person option. For the in-person, we can take about 20 to 30. That is also allowed, or you can see the sign up on our website. Dr. Desiree Cox will be providing or presenting on new opportunities in longevity and representative therapy and regenerative therapies for persons in the U.S., for businesses in the U.S. and in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
It is free of charge to members of the Chamber of Commerce. And so once you register with us, we'll look at your application, vet it, and see if you can join that delegation of 20 to 30 on April 28th.
Excellent. Before we take the break, there's also your partnership with the Ministry of Youth.
Yes,
what can you tell us about that?
Thanks for that. So we've been, and Laverne, thank you. I really appreciate that. Sometimes it's like a very, thankless job. But at the end of the day, once the business community is advocated for and policies, procedures don't disenfranchise them, I'm happy and they're happy. But we've been getting a lot of traction.
Continue.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've been getting a lot of traction, Dwight, lately with persons reaching out, wanting to collaborate. And so the Ministry of Youth has opened up the chamber. And so they've reached out we created a special purpose vehicle where we will be able to provide through the SBDC and their Be Inspired program, which are for persons within a certain age range to access small grants. We are going to provide a youth pricing for them for membership for a minimum of 3 years. So for the first 3 years of their life, while they're in that what we consider fledgling stage, the Chamber of Commerce will be there to help nurture and guide them. And that is at a reduced cost for membership for everyone who's gone through that program, whether they were funded or not. But we've gone a little bit further. And so we have re-implemented Young Professional Society, which in my mind, when I see some of the commentary and some of the things persons are saying, it's clear to me that they don't understand the role of the Chamber of Commerce. And so I wanted to kind of find some way, because of course, only persons who are businesses or who have businesses can join the Chamber. And so what better way to kind of bring persons into the fold other than through a young professional society where they have the opportunity to work alongside the chamber, but don't necessarily need a business. Now, we've had this before. It was called the Organization of Young Professionals, or OYP, back in the day. I think the guy who owns Valentino Monroe was the first or founding president of that. And a number of persons who've been doing very well over the years were founding members. And so we're going to bring that program back. We've launched it already. We have well over 50 applications that we're vetting now. But the Ministry of Youth is going to work with us through that program as well to onboard some persons. And there are so many opportunities that are going to be available for young professionals through that program.
Excellent. That is very, very exciting. And again, information on that on your website, or we go to the Ministry of Youth?
Yes, it is. It's on our website. Just as a synopsis, you have to be between the ages of 22 and 40. So I still qualify, Dwight. Not sure if you do.
No. Just missed it.
Between the age of 22 and 40, and of course be either in a professional role or aspiring to a professional role. There is an application fee. There is a $150 annual membership fee. And like I said, there's opportunity for scholarships because we just inked a deal with Walden. There's an opportunity for scholarships through OAS. There's an opportunity for housing benefits, some professional rates from some banks, as well as an international conference that our member, the International Organization of Employers, houses every year. Last year it was in where is it? In Turkey, Istanbul. And we sent Keith Roy, who was on our board. This year we're going to send someone from the Young Professional Society. Again, it's an opportunity for a Young Professionals Conference that's a week long, and it is all expenses paid. That is only one of the benefits of being a part of that organization.
Wow. You have a lot going on.
And it is headed by Duran Humes. I forgot to say that. Sorry, one of our young up-and-coming chamber members.
A lot going on in the Chamber of Commerce. This is amazing, very exciting times. All right, so stick around, Dr. Leo Roll. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Agatha Marcel as well. Another exciting program with the Chamber. A whole lot to get to in the rest of our Chamber Hour series here on Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Don't that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. Growing wealth for future generations.
You're a builder. You want to give your client the best material at the best prices, and you need to put food on the table. Well, check out these prices at Pinder Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68, includes VAT. By the way, all these prices include VAT. Gray Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50, 30 pounds, $19.80. Owens Corning Duration Shingles and Certainty Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon Roof Cement, $33.47. When it comes to screwing and nailing, Pinder got you covered. He got every nail and screw you could possibly need.
At RBC, we help make your idea of the perfect house happen so that you can make that house a home. With limited time offers including cashback and fee waivers, now is the time to get started. To learn more and to pre-qualify today, visit rbc.com/mortgage ideas. RBC, ideas happen here.
You work hard for your money, so let your money work hard for you. With as little as one start, you can watch your money grow by investing in CFAL's Bahamian dollar and US dollar mutual funds, each tailored to match your unique investment profile. Our expert advisors are dedicated to crafting personalized investment strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Don't miss out on the chance to earn higher returns on your hard-earned money. Join the thousands of investors who trust CFAL. and start your journey toward financial freedom today. Visit us at cfal.com to learn more about our saving and investment options. And let us help you build wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
We are back with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. It's a Chamber Hour with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. We've got CEO Dr. Leo Roll. But also now we have Executive Chair of the NTA, the National Training Agency, Agatha Marcel. Agatha Marcel hasn't been with us in quite a while, but great to have you back on the show. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, so now you're here because of a special partnership you have with the Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Roland, I guess you can start us off and then we can get into it with Agatha Marcel. So tell us about this partnership.
Sure. So Ms. Marcel reached out to the Chamber a few weeks ago, and it was because she wanted to look at opportunities to help persons. That's one of the things she's been doing since time immemorial, helping persons, especially those who are the underserved in our society. And so looking at areas where the business community who really and truly needs to buy into this program in order to make it work will have an opportunity to hire persons who may not have had the best start or footing while they were in high school, may not have the BGCSEs requisite requirements, but they have what we consider vocational skills. And it is vocational skills that will be taught, tried, and proven over a period of time. And so why that is important is because we hear it all the time from the business community that we are failing them, so to speak, because the persons who are coming out of high school or the persons who are being hired by them, sometimes they need a lot of training, or there's this cognitive dissonance between what they should make and what the skill sets mixed with their educational requirements dictate, especially what the business can do. And so it's great to see an opportunity for this real life practical experience, but also that theoretical aspect where the businesses can say, okay, this person doesn't have perhaps the educational acumen that we traditionally look for, but they have this vocational, they have the skill set, they're able to do these different criteria, and we are able to onboard them and see if they can work in these areas and look at what the program has done. I know that the NTA has a history of success in ensuring that persons have the technical skills needed, on-the-job experience needed. I know when Ms. Marcel and I had a meeting, she told me about a number of persons who have gone through the halls of the NTA and are doing extremely well now, and that gives me great confidence, not only in the program, but also in, of course, her ability, given that I know her, I know what she's done, I know what the team that she has. And so it's a natural, and I thought it very much so fitting to invite Ms. Marcel on with us so that she can explain the NVQs, the process, and of course, how this partnership will work to make sure that the business community accepts these persons once they've gone through this program.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so we heard it. NVQ. Let us know what NVQ is all about, Agatha Marcel.
Okay, NVQ is a set of qualifications. It's the National Vocational Qualifications. And in bracket behind it is a BH for Bahamas. Mm-hmm. And most of our Caribbean neighbors, they, through their national training agencies, they have activated national vocational qualifications. So this is nothing new to us. This is another CARICOM strategies. We are just late to the field, as we are sometimes. But I do want to say that I am excited that Dr. Roll has decided to work with us. I just need him to up the energy, the 2% of what he was given the trip in India, because as I said to you, one of the things I believe we are doing wrong, Dwight, is we are forgetting for the most part about that huge percentage, 54 and 60%, I am told, of young people graduating from high school without certificates, without the high school diploma, but they are coming into society every
or
year.
even dropping out of
thousands
school,
them.
right?
Yes, or dropping out of
Yeah.
school. So we have to do something about them. And that is what the National Training Agency has been doing since 2013.
That's a big number
It
there.
was
50 to 60%?
Yes, of them coming out of school without a high school diploma, without meaningful BJCs, BGCSEs, and the national vocational would take the place of that.
Yeah.
Why it is really important for us to have Dr. Roll with us is because the private sector, represented largely by the Chamber and its affiliates, have been instrumental through individual organizations and companies in hiring these young people, because I think for the most part they do understand that not everybody is academically smart. Not everybody is going to have a degree. But there are these people that we work with who are extremely talented. So they're hired everywhere, in industry. They do, because we do entry-level training, they would start at entry level going in, but we've had them who have, ascended. They have been promoted from entry level to advisory level.
Wow.
We have had entrepreneurial persons come out of our program, and it's just been, it's been wonderful. And I really think that Dr. Roll sees that. And as a matter of fact, we have come right out and asked him to work with us and help us, because we need the chamber, the chamber in particular, the Hotel Employers Association, all of them have to get behind these new qualifications that we are putting out. Now, it's important to say that the qualifications, they do not compete with any other qualifications. They are a testament to what these young people at this, applied talent level, let's call it applied skills level.
Does that compete with what?
No, like it wouldn't compete with BJCs, BGCSEs.
Okay.
It's not that.
It's its own
a
animal.
Validation of the skills somebody can do. It is not a pick up from the side of the street idea. The legislation of the NTA calls for it and mandates the NTA to create these qualifications based on criteria and based on the whole structure of the NTA.
Yeah.
The NTA is a very structured organization. not an entity, not a program, not a project. So it is structured to fill that gap. There's something that having a legitimate piece of paper does to people. It tends to give them self-esteem. Oh, I have my degree. Oh, I have my whatever. And so these, on this level, on that worker entry level, would give that same sort of value to the persons who hold them. Already, we have the framework for the ground level. We have benchmarked other Caribbean nations. In particular, Jamaica is far ahead with their program. Jamaica, we did Trinidad, we did Barbados. So ours, it's just formalizing is a good word, what we already do. For an example, all the people that come through NTA, it would be at level 1, job readiness, job preparation. And so they have to do a 4-week soft skills program. They pass that successfully, then they go through the 10 weeks of skills.
Right.
They get a certificate. They may also do the city and guilds, which is also the same framework for these national vocational qualifications that we are doing. And so they go through that, and then they are properly certified. Now, we need, Dr. Roll has committed to organize a meeting for all his chamber members so that we can explain it to them, we can let them see it, in frame, so that they understand all this is what they're getting right now, but formalized now in a national qualification.
All right, so is it expanded? If you've already been through that program that you mentioned, will you be required to do more, or will that just transition into this?
That would be what we do is level 1.
Okay.
These programs can go up to 7 levels, really, but we are going to start with the first 3 levels. Level 1 is entry-level worker. Level 2 is supervised skill worker. And number 3 is supervisory. And then it can go right up.
But you will need employers to be a part of this throughout the whole
We need to sanction because we want them to know that when somebody shows up with an NVQ, that means something. That's like showing up with a city and guilds certificate.
Yeah.
But when people understand and they buy in, they give them a greater chance. Because right now our people going into employers with the certificates from NTA, the mandatory workforce, soft skills, and then the other thing, they are accepted readily. But now this has to become national.
Yeah. So when do you anticipate this starting?
We very possibly by June.
Okay.
Because it's already there. The level 1 just has now to be converted to reflect a national vocational qualification.
Right.
The good thing I want to mention, and for employers out there listening, and that's public and private sector, they like to ask, is our program registered with NACOB? All of the providers we work with are NACOB registered and approved. So NTA is an autonomous body that doesn't have to be registered. it's our mandate to produce those qualifications. But everybody we work through, because NTA don't do, we don't do the skills training. We send them out to providers who are experts at the skills and train the young people for us. We just have to pay them.
Right. So if you've already been through phase one, the program already, what do you need to do if you're going to be a part of advancing to another level?
You can, through the providers that do the skill, they will be given the opportunity to become providers of the NVQs. So they will do level 2 and level 3. Now you're going to have some NVQs that will run through the NTA. Those would be the generic ones related to personal development and skills and supervisory management and all of that.
Right.
We do that now, but on a different level, on a higher academic level. We do that through the ILM program, that's City and Guild's top competency-based training provider, and that stands for Institute of Leadership and Management, one of the most recognized and best in the world in what it does. So we do that program. Equivalent to the NVQs would also be the City and Guilds competency-based skills program that we run. So we already have a full slate. We're just trying to promote our own national qualifications.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Leroy, we have about a minute or so left. So, are employers getting it? Are you all ready to be a part of this?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no challenge. As I said to Ms. Marcel, there are concerns, but we will work together to work through those concerns. I don't see a challenge with employers accepting this and being able to assist those persons who have skill set, because a lot of times they say that, experience is, education is one thing, but having that skill set and that experience is another. And so, as Ms. Marcel said, we are going to bring the employers together so that there can be, because they need to understand, there needs to be a public awareness and education campaign around this so that they can understand what's happening, understand where we're moving to, look at what's being done in other jurisdictions, and then make sure that the Bahamas is ready for it. So we'll invite our chamber members from the Family Islands as well, so that this can be a national push. Yeah. So I'm right there with her.
And Dwight, I want to say this too. It's a mindset we had better get out of, because we concentrate almost solely on the smaller half, the 45, maybe 50, not 50, but maybe the 45 or so % of the persons coming out of school academically inclined. We concentrate on them. And I'll just say that when you open the papers and look, for weeks I saw Wendy's and Marco's and everybody trying to recruit people. These are the people we're talking about. We're talking about the labor, the laboring people, the ones who lay blocks and who we have a problem, and we need to begin to look at the problem and see a lot of jobs that the people I am talking about, formalizing their skills, can do are being done by foreign people in this country. And so employers need to expand. You don't need to have an associate degree to make me up a salad bowl. You need to want to know how to do it. You need to know how to slice the whatever you put in the salad.
Up, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And so you can't leave those people behind. No. When you leave them behind, you're creating many more not challenges, problems.
Big problems.
For your society.
Absolutely. Agatha Marcel, we could talk.
Miss Marcel, good morning. I have a question.
You got about 30 seconds,
if you decide to be, if you decide to be a part of the program, back to level 3, how long would it take?
Level 3, Laverne, is something that you can. Level 3 is something that you can do independently. So you can, from just where you are, you would be able to enter a level 3 program, because then level 3 means that you are training to be a supervisor, and so that can be for specific to industry, like a supervisor in wherever, in Guardian Radio, and so you can do that, or you can, through a provider, train to be a supervisor, say at a Kelly's or wherever you work, at a bank. So it's like that.
And if you need more information, if you want, what should you do right now?
Please contact us at the National Training Agency. We have a website, National Training Agency, www. You can get us at our main line, 461-6000, and you can just ask for myself. You can ask for the executive director. You can ask for the assistant executive director, but just tell them what you want, and the receptionist will put you to the appropriate person.
Okay. Very exciting. I'm sure you're going to come back and give us an update on how this is going. But great information there. Again, Agatha Marcel, Executive Chair at the NTA, National Training Agency. Thank you. And it's the NVQ, National Vocational Qualifications Program.
Yes.
Thank you. And Dr. Leo Roll, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. Again, you all have a whole lot of exciting things going on. Thank you for the update. Enjoy the rest of your time in India. Very jealous.
Yes.
Very jealous.
Come home safely.
But yes, come home safely.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you for
so
the
much. I
update.
appreciate that.
And we'll talk
All
with
right,
you
have a
again
good day.
next month during our Chamber Hour series here on Morning Blend Business. Laverne Gardner, thank you for being here on a Tuesday. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
So you see, we're giving you a very long holiday weekend. You get Thursday off too, and you can enjoy your Easter.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. Folks, be sure to pick up today's Nassau Guardian for the Guardian business section. A lot of great news in there. And this portion of the show brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. That's it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.